Hello everyone, how are we doing? NBZ here, and you guessed it guys, we've got Black and White 2 in the building. So, I'm kind of doing a little sort of mini-series of videos here. I am not doing a Let's Play of this game. There are too many people in the community doing LPs of this game. I think it's fruitless, I think it's pointless, and I think it's just better to wait for the English version to actually play through the game. Obviously, I'm going to want to go through the game to get the Wi-Fi stuff, and that is mainly what I'm going to be using the Japanese version for doing, so there'll probably be a patch out sometime soon, but at the moment, you know, the Japanese version is what I'm going to be using, and so I don't want to play through the game honestly in Japanese. It makes no sense to do so. We have no idea what's going on because I can't read Japanese. Most people cannot. So I decided instead to do a bit of a quick look, a first look, if you will, at Black and White 2 and kind of talk a bit about it. But I've got some questions from Facebook here that people have kindly submitted to me, and I guess I'll answer a few of those as we go through the video, just relating things that relate to Black and White 2 in general. And you can kind of watch the gameplay in the background. Very early on in the game, I decided to start recording, you know, maybe around half an hour into the game, or a bit less than that actually, maybe 10-15 minutes into the game here. Not much has happened. As you can see, my Oshawott hasn't even leveled up yet, so we've got that going on. But a few questions here from Facebook that I guess I'll go into. First one from Joe Riggio. Is the rumor about a hard mode in Black and White 2 true? Now, I haven't actually heard this rumor before. I didn't know that that was something that was circulating. But I doubt that that is true. If you're looking at Nintendo in general, Nintendo are a company that do not generally change difficulty levels or put difficulty levels into their game, and so I find it very unlikely, especially in something like Pokemon, where changing the difficulty is very difficult to do. Ironically, I had to use that word in order to express myself, but there you go, that's what happens sometimes. So I doubt it's true. Obviously we can't really tell at this point. We're very early on into the game. Lots of people, we don't really know much about it so far. We're just getting through it, and so I guess that maybe if you beat the Elite Four, if you beat someone in specific, you may unlock a hard mode, but I doubt that that is the case. Then Kevin Corrido says, World Tournament, your thoughts? I like the idea of the World Tournament. I think it's a very cool thing in general. I'm glad that they're bringing back a lot of the old sort of gym leaders and Elite Four from the past games. I think really, to be honest, the only ones that I recognize are going to be the 1st and 2nd gen. After that, I'm very blurry. 3rd gen, 4th gen, 5th gen. I have no idea who any of the gym leaders are. I just didn't care to remember them because at that point, I wasn't too interested in the main game. I was only interested in online, and you know, 1st and 2nd gen, really that was where I loved the main story, and that's where I put a lot of my time and effort into, and so obviously I'm going to be interested in those gym leaders, so that's definitely going to be cool. It's probably going to be something that unlocks after the Elite Four. If it doesn't, then it wouldn't make much sense. It seems like that's going to be the sort of Battle Frontier thing, and I've got another question here from Max Lopez, who asks, do you think there will be a Battle Frontier in Black and White 2? And my answer to that is that I think that the World Tournament will be a part of the Battle Frontier, if not the actual Battle Frontier itself. It makes sense to do that because you're coming up against these challenges post-game that obviously can be a lot harder than what you go through during the game, and so it would make sense that you would kind of go and do the Battle Frontier stuff alongside the World Tournament. Maybe they're separate modes. Perhaps the Battle Frontier is going to be a bit more fully fledged out, like it was an Emerald. The Emerald Battle Frontier was massive, if I remember correctly, and so that's going to be very interesting to see that, and maybe lots of different modes of play and styles of play. They'll probably add like rotation things, and you know, because Black and White didn't really have that much of a fully featured Battle Frontier stuff. So yeah, that should be good. I'm definitely expecting that to happen. David Rodriguez asks, do you think that Kyurem will finally go OU and be moved out of BL due to his new forms? My answer to this is a simple and resounding yes. Kyurem will not only go OU in those forms, it will most likely go Uber. If you've seen, I think Cerebi released some stats recently of Black and White Kyurem. Black and White Kyurem are slated to have 170 base attack and special attack respectively. So the Zekrom form will have the 170 attack and the Reshiram form will have the 170 special attack. That, ladies and gentlemen, is pretty groundbreaking. That's a huge amount of power right behind those guys, and it's basically going to allow them to have the most powerful Outrage and the most powerful Draco Meteor in the game. That's going to be very, very deadly. I believe the Reshiram form is base 100 speed and the Zekrom forms base 90. I'm not quite sure why that is. Maybe that's correct, maybe it's not. I'm kind of going off false information. Maybe we aren't 100% sure at this point, but that is a potential for what could happen. Definitely gonna move out of BL, probably not even OU, most likely Ubers, and I think that they're gonna be a nice addition to the Ubers metagame. Definitely gonna shake things up a bit, and I mean, they're probably gonna put the regular Reshiram and Zekrom out of business, if I'm honest. Regular Reshiram and Zekrom just kind of pale in comparison in terms of those stats, really. So it's gonna be interesting to see how that happens and how the Ubers metagame shapes around it, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, I guess what else have we got? We got a question from Andrew Rasmussen here, who asks, how would you feel if Ferrothorn got Synthesis, and what about Sableye getting Trick with Prankster? These are two very interesting Pokemon in general, just because they have, you know, a lot of feasibility in the metagame currently. Ferrothorn obviously being the most potent wall that there is out there, and giving it Synthesis would be great. It would be a very useful thing to have, having a healing move. The only thing that you kind of call into question is the fact that weather teams are so rampant these days, and when you have sand and rain being the dominant forms of weather, Synthesis gets buffed, not buffed, it gets debuffed by sand or rain. So you're only healing 25% of your health as opposed to the full 50% or even in Sun, the 75%. So obviously not many people will run Ferrothorn in a Sun team. That kind of defeats the purpose of it. It's going to be roasted. So you don't want to be doing that. And it makes sense, I guess, for it to be working within a Sand team and Rain team more often than a Sun team, and obviously with Synthesis being destroyed by those weathers, not going to be a great thing, I feel. Going to be a bit of a tricky situation in general. So that may be interesting. We'll have to see how that works out. But Sableye getting Trick, that's definitely going to be a big one. I can see that being very useful. Obviously, Prankster being a big thing. I have used Trick with Whimsicott before, so that works, I guess. But yeah, that's going to be a definitely interesting, questionable thing. And I guess we'll see how that goes. But that is going to be it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching this first video of a first look at Black and White 2. I will be back, probably another video later today or maybe even early tomorrow. I'll try and get some more footage of this game out to you guys and answer some more questions. If you want me to answer your questions, leave them in the comments below. I'll be sure to respond to those accordingly. So, there you go. If you did enjoy this video, give it a like rating. That would be much appreciated. And leave your comment questions, as I said already. I'll probably see you guys very, very soon, later today or tomorrow. And we'll get some more gameplay stuff sorted out and check out more of the game. I'll see you guys then. Goodbye.